everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Good. Yeah, this is our final session, so you guys have really done a great job. I want to let you know that. I also want to let you know again, as we do in all the meetings, that this is a safe environment for everyone to speak in, and that everything in here will stay confidential between us. Okay. So I gave you a little assignment over the weekend. Okay, and I just want to get your thoughts and feelings about the assignment and what your feelings were on it. Success to me is blank. You want to start, Yesenia?
Yeah, I'll start. So success to me is trying. So a lot of people have an end goal, and that's what success is. But I think that not all goals are sometimes are able to be reached because, or maybe not at that moment. But as long as you made an effort, you've already succeeded. Because you've already gone out of your comfort zone, and there's a lot of smaller goals that you've completed along the way that maybe you didn't notice or maybe you didn't feel was as important but should be. So yeah, success to me is trying.
Okay.
Success to me is accomplishing. It's not enough to just
All
try
right.
anymore.
Good.
I have to accomplish it
Mhm.
in order for me to actually feel like I succeeded and tell somebody I succeeded.
Okay. How about you, Tatiana?
She literally stole my word. I was gonna say, success to me is accomplishing something, and what I usually do is set goals for myself, and whether it be a short-term goal or a long-term goal, I always give myself a date, and at the end of it, I just see if I accomplished it.
Okay. Great. So, what did all of you do this weekend to take that step? Remember, we talked about taking a step
Yeah.
each weekend to get closer to your goal.
Yeah, well, this semester I'm planning on doing 2 internships, and I'm thinking about it, and both of them are such a good it's gonna help me better myself, but at the same time thinking about work, school, and those 2 internships, and that's a lot to handle. So instead of just giving up, I decided to go to the orientation. So now I'm learning the responsibilities, and that scares me even more, and it's easier for me to back off, but I'm still sticking through. So that's my thing, and then hopefully it would be a good experience.
Great.
Over the since we last talked, I've been making steps to be more codependent. My boyfriend left for the winter. He went back home, so I have no choice but to spend time for myself, and my cat and stuff like that. So I just been taking time for myself. Finally, I'm actually completing that over the winter break. I feel like I will have too much free time, a little bit.
For me, since I ended pretty early, I start up again in 2 weeks, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And I was just thinking about how I'm gonna do this semester different from my last, so maybe me more involved. I tend to just be the type of person to just do what I have to do, and that's it. So maybe being more involved can help me being more comfortable with talking to a big group of people.
Great. Okay. I plan to do something a little, just to share with you, a little challenging for myself during the break. You remember I talked about I don't like going places by myself, right? So I'm actually going to go to dinner at night by myself and take myself to a movie while I'm on break. So I'm gonna do both things. I'm gonna double up and see how that. If you hear me dialing.
Sound lonely.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought I would do that, and I'm actually gonna do it out of town because I'll be out of town. So I'm actually gonna do that while I'm out of town, so that I don't have anyone around.
I know.
Right. Okay. So my next question to you is, what feels scary about success?
I think what feels scary is maybe feeling like you didn't, or well, for me is feeling like either I don't deserve it or I didn't do good enough. So it's like even if I got like even if I tried, since that's success to me, didn't accomplish my goal. So it's still like not all the way there. And even if I accomplish my goal, then I could have done things differently to make it better, to make it more worthwhile for me. So yeah, that's what makes it scary.
The most scariest part about success to me is failure. I get fixated on doing the absolute best, as she says. But when I put my mind to it, like, I have to succeed. And if I put my all into it and I still don't, succeed, it's a huge failure to me. Like, I really have it really impacts my life because I try like 100% at what I do. So the hardest, like the scariest part about trying to succeed is just that you won't, you give it your all and you still don't accomplish.
Yeah, remember a couple of meetings ago, I equated that to the little kid, getting up and walking for the first time. Just because they take a couple of stumbles, and fall, they get right back up when they try again.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to encourage you to do. Get back up and try again, even if you take those stumbles if you fall.
Yeah.
I feel like in the same way. So I previously said like I'm really big on like setting goals for myself. So if I at the end of whatever my goal was and the time was, I feel like if I didn't succeed at or accomplish my goal at the set time that I said I was going to, I feel like I failed because I have nobody else to blame but myself. So I take that pretty hard too.
Okay, let me talk about something now. Self-sabotaging behavior. Have we all heard about that? Yeah, okay. It's behavior when it creates problems in our lives that interferes with our long-standing goal. Amongst the most common self-sabotaging behaviors are procrastination, self-medication with drugs or alcohol, comfort eating, and forms of self-injury such as cutting. So self-sabotaging is anything that gets in your way, right? So for instance, if you're on a diet and someone brings a birthday cake to the office, everyone else may not be on a diet, but you are, and you go ahead and you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna have that piece of cake today, right? That sets you back. That sets you back, and that sets you away from your goals. That you're trying to accomplish. You're trying to lose weight, not the rest of the office. So you have to consider that.
It's my key day.
Right. Or you're in class and you're trying to reach a deadline for an assignment, for instance, and you go, you know what? I'm gonna watch that marathon of The Sopranos today. I'll get to that later, and you just sit there and So those are the types of behaviors that get in our way that we have to be mindful of. Those self-sabotaging behaviors.
Yeah, I feel like I do that a lot. Like I talked about in the last time, like when it comes to like the biggest decisions in my life, like I've always kind of self-sabotaged myself, and I don't do something because I'm scared, and then I never get anywhere because of it. So I
Right.
definitely agree.
Right. That's why we self-sabotage, because we're afraid. We don't feel that we deserve. We're complacent where we are, and we don't feel that we deserve that.
Something better.
Yeah. We're comfortable being here when we could be here, and yeah. So that's reasons why we self-sabotage. Any comments for you, Medina?
For me, I was gonna add to that just because I used to be like really good, like really big on self-medicating. Like it was just like, I don't know, like my mom's grew up like that, and I don't know, I grew up around it. And like I just like try my hardest like not to end up like her. Like that's just like my biggest fear. And so to say that it's self-sabotage, like it just opened my eyes. Like I'm really happy that I found better coping skills,
Right.
But like I can like honestly feel like as if like I was sabotaging myself at the time. And for you to just point it out like within that whole context of self-sabotage, it takes me back. And like any urges I do have like around me, like even if somebody else is like, popping a bottle of wine, drinking, like I just try like my absolute hardest, like think of like my long-term goals and stuff like that in order to like just not get back into that state of mind. Because like I said, like I really don't want to sabotage what I created for myself in such a little time. I have so much more to go. Like I can't see myself like wasting like that.
Right, you spend a lot of time. I mean, you're
Yeah.
in grad school, and
Mhm.
that's a great accomplishment. So, yes, you want to focus on those goals and continue not to self-sabotage. How about you, Tatiana?
Yeah, I agree. But I also think that like self-sabotaging is like, and even a negative aspect, it's kind of normal. I feel like everybody's gonna do it at one point, because then it goes back to the fear. So if you sabotage yourself, then you're like, okay, well, then I don't have to be fearful that I'm not gonna do it, so I'm just pretend like I can't do it.
Exactly.
So I think it's noticing, which is the really hard part,
That's the hard part.
is noticing that you're doing that, and then be like, okay, no, I can't do this anymore. But I mean, everything takes time, and it's hard.
Noticing and actually changing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true too.
Okay. So, well, let's talk about setting goals, setting SMART goals. Who's heard of that? Setting SMART goals. Okay. So SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay. So what kind of SMART goals do you think you can make, Yesenia, to accomplish your goal? Kind of things that.
I mean, when it comes to like procrastination,
Mhm.
which I feel like is one of my biggest barriers in like a lot of things, it would be like setting up a deadline for certain things to be done, and also maybe even setting time off from my schedule, and then looking at what times I can like study for an exam, or what times I can do an assignment without having any interruptions, because that's my biggest thing. Like you said, it's like, do I do my work, or should I just watch the show? And I'm like, I don't have time, and then that's what just leads to worse things. So yeah.
I feel like I do SMART planning a lot. Like, it's just like a resolution I have. So like I have to write everything down every day, and check it off by the end of the day, or X it out. Like if I didn't do it, I X it out. If I check it off, I did it. But like I have like literally a plan A through Z. Like if something fails, like I have something else like as a backup. If this office got shut down today, like I know where I have like I invest my time in like SMART planning. Like that's just all I do. I have a planner, and like it's a yearly planner. So like I literally set a goal for that year, and then at the end of the year I set a goal for the next year, and I mark off everything like just like that. And if I don't do that, I have like really bad anxiety. So like I've always been like really good at that though, that aspect. I wouldn't say like I complete it to the ultimate ability, but like for the most part, it's pretty impressive.
Okay. What about you, Tatiana?
As far as the whole speaking thing, I think what I said previously about being more involved, I've always just been very to myself. That's always how I've been. But once you get to know me, like my friends, then it's like a totally different me. But for the most part, when it comes to like school and like workplace, like I'm very much to myself. I do what I have to do, and then that's it. And I know I did what I had to do. So I think being more involved in school for my last year would help me be able to get off that fear of like speaking in front of people.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, you guys, this has been a great session. Okay. If you have any questions, I'm available. I want you to, stop by the office, and see me if you have any questions or concerns. Just keep taking those small steps, to reaching your goals, and, you'll get there, and, set those SMART goals. That's important too. Make sure that they're attainable, and put a time limit on yourself too to see, and hopefully you will achieve your goals. And like I said, keep in contact with me if there's anything that you want to discuss. Now that the meetings are over, feel free to stop by my office. If you want the groups to continue, we can also do that. You can get together, if you guys want to continue the groups. But I want to just thank you guys, and it was 3 great sessions.
Yeah.
Thank
You guys
you.
did great work.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.